Are dead people really collecting Social Security checks, or is this a big lie from President Trump? Truthfully, my question is whether businesses have to pay Social Security tax if the Social Security Administration is no longer needed. I did some digging into this topic, and Wired magazine had an article by a journalist named David Gilbert. The link is in the description below. Mr. Gilbert explains everything. Trump claimed that Social Security was basically a Ponzi scheme because people that were 150 years old were still getting Social Security checks. But David Gilbert at Wired stated that the Doge team had gone in and looked at the computer system at the SSA offices. Doge found that the payment system was run by a COBOL programming language, which is an antiquated programming language, no longer actively implemented. That's about 60 years old. In fact, many of the government's agencies use the COBOL programming language. This also explains why we have a pattern of inefficiency within our government. To make matters worse, or is it a blessing? The young developers who are working with Elon Musk have no experience working with COBOL language because the programming language is basically retired. Yes, that's right, the retirement payment system is run by a computer system that has a language that is retired. Brilliant. Apparently this language, instead of archiving people after they reach the age of 115, keeps the people in the system but stops their checks from being mailed out. So no, there are no checks going to anyone older than 115. On a side note, I'm not sure what you do if you live to be older than 115 and you're relying on your Social Security check. Elon Musk claimed that 10 million people over the age of 120 years old were claiming benefits, but the screenshot that he showed on Twitter actually showed 400 million people, which is about 5 times the amount of people that actually receive checks, according to the Social Security Administration website. This made the big lie more confusing. In 2023, an inspector general, yes, one of those people that Doge fired, found that 98% of people over the age of 100 were not receiving any checks. And of the 2% that were, most were alive, but some were being overpaid. I don't really mind overpaying someone that reaches 100 years old. That inspector general's report also mentioned that the COBOL language system would be too expensive to replace. Since Congress is proposing to give $800 billion in tax cuts to the wealthy, maybe we have enough money to replace the antiquated software in our government computer systems. I say we give OpenAI or Microsoft a crack at rewriting code for a new system, and then systematically move people's information to the new programming language so programmers can track errors in batches and no payments are disrupted. Why doesn't COBOL work? Not to get too deep in programming, but in most modern programming languages, each object is assigned a type. For instance, my name Mark is assigned the type, name, the date, my birthday is assigned the type, date, my email address is assigned the type, email. So when you look at a spreadsheet, you see across the top the titles, name, date, email. And millions of people's names, birthdates, and emails are listed down the columns of the spreadsheet. When someone dies, the date field becomes empty or more likely is assigned the word null. Why am I telling you this? Because the COBOL language does not have type assignments in its language and it does not recognize null, so when there is no type called date, the date field is automatically filled in with the date of May 20th, 1875, and if you do the math, that makes the age 150 years old, which introduces the Trump lie about people over 150 getting SSA checks. Incidentally, the date May 20th, 1875 was picked by a group of developers at a conference in Paris because everyone in the coding world wanted to know what they could do about null values or values that didn't have a date type. Maybe OpenAI could start a project to create a program for SSA that programmers could work on together to solve this basic problem. I mean, couldn't AI speed things up? Is it even feasible to create a new computer system? Recently, the government has implemented ID.me, which is a security protocol for the Social Security Administration and IRS. Private citizens must verify their identity to gain access to their taxes or retirement statements online. This is a new system that seems to work with both agencies at the same time. It has security info on every American that pays taxes or receives SSA, so we are already in this new system. So I would think we would be able to implement a new Social Security payment system using this data, and eventually the old COBOL system could be permanently archived. If you don't start change, it never happens, which is why waste started in the first place. In conclusion, I heard today that the Supreme Court sided with the people in rejecting Trump's freeze on U.S. aid funds, which were already allocated by Congress. So hopefully, little babies will get their peanut nutrition paste, and we can stop Ebola from jumping countries. I also think businesses, for the time being, will continue to pay Social Security tax because I heard the GOP told Elon he must go through Congress from now on to make any DOGE changes. However, Musk's reaction seemed doubtful. If you learned anything new in this video, please like and subscribe so YouTube shows this video to more people. Thank you for watching our videos.